Welcome back. This is your man Warrior, and wow, this is the fourth video of the day. I am on a roll, I tell you, but I have so much content that people want me to deliver that they're requesting that I am trying my hardest to knock all of it out. There's never going to be an end in sight with content, so I want to make sure I'm bringing out as much fresh and relevant content as possible. Now, I have had Chief Nebit requested multiple times, and I haven't had him on my list. I actually skipped him to finish the Lando Calrissian review, and so I'm going back now to do Chief Nebit. I did finally do the critical damage mod challenge and 3-star it, so that way I can now do the critical damage mods. I'm super excited about that, and Chief Nebit is part of the reason why. So Chief Nebit, one of the things with all of the droids, Jawas, and I will go over all the Jawas over the next few weeks, but one of the cool things about them is you can farm them at the exact same time. You can farm all 5 at the exact same time, so if you want to build up a Jawa team fast, you can do that. Let me show you just real quick. First, over here in the guild store, it's going to pop down occasionally Jawa Engineer. This is the hardest one to farm, but you can get him from time to time there. Then you can come over to Cantina Battles, and in Cantina Battles, you just go to 2D, and there you go. You can do Jawa, the basic, and you can farm him up as much as you want. And if you don't want to farm him there, you can do light side or dark side battles. The dark side battles 4F, light side is 6B for the nodes for getting that one. Then you can come over and go into the actual store, and there's Jawa Scavenger. And then you come over to Squad Arena and go into the Arena store, and there's Chief Nebit. And then, of course, you can come over to Galactic War, and there's Dacha right there. So they are farmable quickly, easily, and you can do all of them, all 5 at one time. Now, if you're going to do the mod challenge, you do need to do all of them because they're, for critical damage, requires at the last tier 5 of 5. You got to have all 5 of them to do that. So you're going to have to build them up. Now, I will tell you, of all of them, Chief Nebit is one of the best. He is definitely very, very usable with droids, and we'll get into why. So he's a very popular character. Now, again, as always, I don't have him modded the way I would like, but I will go over how I would mod him if I had all the mods in the world and I had a perfect world to mod him. I'll go over his attacks and abilities. Obviously, they're all at level 3, but I will go over what they will be once they're maxed out. So first, let's start. He is a tank, and that is awesome. The Jawa tank, and he can become a tank for, a taunting tank that is, for droids if you decide to use him. He, if you can see here, is at gear 8 going to gear 9. I'm a couple pieces away from gear 9. And he gears very easily. He is the average of purple gear right at 600, 610, so that's not bad at all. And he only takes 2 raid gear parts, which is really not bad at all. And that was one of them right there, a Mark V droid collar. You got to have 1 to go from gear 8 to 9 and 1 to go from 9 to 10. That's really not bad at all. His power currently for me is 6354, but he will go up to 7460, so right around 7500. So he's not the strongest power character, but he's not bad either. His initial speed is at 109. Now, most characters you're going to want to speed up. I will tell you with him, you do want him to go last on your team if you're playing with droids or if you're playing with Jawa. You really want him to go last. And the reason for that is he can, once they all go, he can then throw his taunt. So you want your team to be lightning fast, and then once he uses his taunt, part of that taunt is it reduces cooldowns by 1 on all the other characters. So you definitely want to make him the slowest of your team, but just because I mean slowest doesn't mean you want him to be slow. Just make him the slowest character on your team, and he's currently already set at 109 speed, which is crazy. His health is a little over 23,000. Again, he has a tank. That's about average for a tank, and his protection's around the same amount. So maxed out without mods, he's somewhere in the ballpark of about 48,000. And then if you can get him up there, you can get him around 60,000 with health and protection boosts, and that's pretty good for a tank. And he hits pretty decently. So Now that you know his base stats, how to gear him, and where to farm for him, let's go ahead and go into mods. Now, on my map mods, again, they're not where I want them to, and I've tried to rework them, and I just can't figure it out with the ones that I have. And I need to farm more mods, and now I can. I've unlocked some really cool sections, but it's like, do I farm Wedge or do I farm mods? Do I farm B2 or do I farm mods? Do I farm Lando Calrissian or do I farm mods? Like, mods have been on the back burner for me since they pretty much came out. They came out, I went crazy, and then I haven't done anything with mod farming since, for the most part. I have purchased a couple from the store. I highly discourage you from doing so. It is a huge ripoff. But when you need a particular mod for a particular character and you haven't unlocked that mod challenge yet, that is what you can do if you have the crystals to do so. So I will go ahead and go over how you should mod this character. First off, the most important thing you're going to need to do is get his health up. I know that health and protection on any tank is important. You want their health high and you want their protection high. Now, why health? His basic ability will give them the ability to give protection to another person and plus 20% Nebit's health. So you want his health to be as high as possible, because if he's giving 20% health, you want 20% to be of a great piece of pie. You want the pie to be as big as possible. So health mods are great. So if you have only health mods, that's okay with him. Health mods are a good thing. The other thing is he's got an ability to, with his leadership ability, which I use to give critical chance plus 30%. So because of that, I would really focus on critical damage. So what I would do if I had this perfectly is I'd either do 3 set bonuses of health mods, or I would do 1 health set and 1 critical damage set. So I would do 4 for critical damage and then 2 of them for the health. So the set bonuses, ideally a health set bonus and a critical damage set bonus, but you could mix and match it. You could do tenacity like I've done. Obviously he's a tank, so he's going to taunt and people are going to hit him with negative status effects. The tenacity helps resist some of those, so tenacity's not a terrible waste if you have those. But really his health mods, because of his basic ability, you really want his health up as high as possible, because that's a really unique ability he has. We'll go over those in a minute. And then of course the critical damage, if he's going to increase his own critical chance, now he's critting, you want him to do as much damage as possible with that. You're going to look for speed secondaries like any other character, but you don't want to get him faster than your other characters that you're playing with. And then I would probably do protection times 2 on him. I would do 1 on the bottom left as protection. So the data bus would normally be protection, like I have it in there. I would do protection. And then on the bottom right, I would either do protection or I would do tenacity. And tenacity is a good default, so that way he can resist the status effects. But if you didn't have a tenacity here, you could always do another protection mod, which for any tank, 2 protection mods are amazing. They really make them very, very beefy. The top left transmitter, of course, is going to be offense. The middle left is going to be the processor, and it's always going to be defense. The bottom left is going to be protection. The top right is currently speed, and that's because I have a lot of my Jawas running pretty fast, and there's some potency and whatnot. Plus, like I said, I'm kind of using what I have. But in this particular slot, I would either really use accuracy or critical avoidance. And the fact that he's a tank, I would say that critical avoidance or accuracy would be more important. Accuracy for his leadership ability, because anytime the Jawa or droid crits, they end up causing critical chance down on the other team, and so that would be a good one to have. But I would definitely not put speed in here. If I had anything else, I probably would use it. I just really don't have a whole lot to the left. I know it looks like it, but I don't. It's a bunch of junk. And so I would recommend the accuracy, or I would recommend the critical avoidance. Critical avoidance being a tank, that's just a good idea. So he's being targeted, and they're not going to take as much. He's going to be less likely to take that critical damage. This middle right one, the hollow array, I would definitely do critical damage like I have in there. I would try and get him to do as much damage as possible to the other team, and this is a great way. He's already going to raise his own critical chance, so you don't need to put critical chance in here. I'd put critical damage. And then over here on the bottom right, I would again do either protection or I would do tenacity. Prefer tenacity, but protection would be not bad at all, especially for the fact that he's a tank. So in retrospect, basically bottom right, tenacity or protection. Then you got critical damage. Up here, probably critical avoidance. Up here, offense. In the middle left, defense. And in the bottom left, protection. And I would do a set bonus of health and a set bonus of critical damage, or I would do 3 health set bonuses if you could do so. So that's how I would mod him if I had all the mods in the world and didn't have to worry too much about him. Now, off to his attacks and his abilities. I want to go through all of those attacks and abilities. The first one is called Sheltering Shot. This is an excellent basic ability. Now, it does do only okay damage. I know a lot of characters that can hit harder than him, but he is a tank, so tanks tend to not hit as hard. But it says deal physical damage to target enemy with a 70% chance, it will go up, but a 70% chance to grant protection up equal to 15% of his max health. So this is really, really cool. This is where the health mods come into play, is if you've got his health way, way high, boosted up through mods, he's going to slap on, and this is the only character in the game that does this, he's going to slap on protection up on another character of 15%, but it will go to 20% of his max health for 2 turns for anybody who's not stealth. And so his basic ability is going to add protection based on 20% of his max health. So if his max health is boosted through mods, he's going to get a very large chunk of protection to one of the other characters who are not stealthed. So that's a really cool basic, because every time he shoots, he has a 70% chance of granting this protection up. I've gone through a couple of battles where he had 3 of the characters he was with, all of them had protection up, which was a pretty unique and cool ability. And 20% of his health, like I said, you definitely want to boost that. So Sheltering Shot, great ability basically. The taunt is called Distracting Negotiations. Now it says Nebit taunts for 1 turn. It does go to 2 turns, which is average, and the cooldown will go down to 3. So a taunt for 2 that you can do every 3 turns is not bad, because that means there's only 1 turn where he won't be taunting in between usage of this particular ability. Now this one is definitely one of those abilities you really need to learn your team and learn timing and strategy, because when you do it, he has a chance to gain heal over time, a 70% chance to gain heal over time, which, by the way, goes to 100% heal over time, and it goes to 3 turns. So every 3 turns he gets to do Distracting Negotiations, and he gets 3 heal over times. So literally every single turn he could have heal over time above him, healing him. So he's a self-healing tank, which is really, really great. But the timing piece comes in where it says reduce the cooldowns of all Jawa and droid allies by 1. You want to make sure you taunt after you've used all of those amazing abilities from the other characters that you wish to reset. All those special abilities, you want to drop their cooldowns by 1. This is awesome. And this affects all of them, including, the droids. So this is why he makes such a great tank for Jawas and why he makes such a great tank for droids. And so again, and he gets to use this every 3 turns, and he'll be healing over time times 3 once you have this maxed out. So that's pretty cool. Desert Ambush. Now, this is pretty awesome because he's a tank that calls an assist, kind of like 5s can call an assist. But his assist will call not 1, but 2 people to assist if the person that is called to assist is a Jawa or a droid. So it says deal physical damage to a target enemy and call a random ally to assist. That random ally is going to deal 20% less damage. If the assisting ally is Jawa or droid, and you'd be silly to not play him in a Jawa or droid team, you will call another random ally to assist. All the Jawas that are called to assist will gain stealth for 2 turns. So this is very cool stealthing, a stealth assist. He's the tank. He's going to call in a massive hit. They're going to all do damage, and then they're going to go into stealth mode. So this makes them very hard to hit because now they're stealthed, and he's the tank. That's really the idea. This is also why I would suggest potentially 2 protection mods when you're choosing your primary stats, and make sure you're boosting up his health through the health set bonuses and the health mods. But this one maxed out, obviously, it gives them the stealth for 3 turns. I know it says 2 turns on mine, but once it's maxed out, they'll get stealth for 3 turns. And his hit on this is about double what his basic is. So not a bad special hit at all. And of course the cooldowns will go down to 4, so he can call an assist about every 4 turns, which is okay for calling an assist. And his last is raiding parties. Jawa and droid allies gain, and it will go up to 30% critical chance and inflict critical chance down for 3 turns. So he'll, as a leadership ability, give all Jawas and droids that 30% critical chance, so you don't have to use critical chance mods on your characters if you don't want to. You can reutilize different mods for them and still get that 30% critical chance added to them. So this is very similar to the leadership ability of Lando Calrissian for the Scoundrels. And then of course they will inflict critical chance down on a critical hit for 3 turns. So critical chance down is going to mean the other team's not going to do damage to you nearly as bad as they would, because they've got 3 turns of critical chance down, which is doubling the ability of them to not hit you with a critical chance. So I want to take Chief on a little bit of a test drive so you can see him. And what better way to do the test I just did on the mod challenge? I think it really gives you an opportunity to see the Jawas in action. It also lets you see him through 5 battles. And like I said, I beat this one last time, so hopefully that doesn't work. Oops, I accidentally simmed it. I did not want to do that. Let's go ahead and battle. That was a mistake. That's okay. All right, I want to watch him actually play. So they've got him in as the leader, raiding parties. And he is a tank, and then I've got my other Jawa here. And let's go ahead and battle and see how he does. Now, keeping in mind, I don't have a very good droid team. It is something that I have not focused on yet. Otherwise, I would test drive him with some droids, because he is amazing with droids. And I just started using my droids this week, so I don't know all of their abilities as well as I probably should. And there's that assist hit. And of course, the 2 that came and helped, both are stealthed now. And I'll go ahead and toss this, and both the bombs will go off. And bombs are great. I just wish that we could have Zam Wesell on this team. I wish I could mix and match these guys for this particular type of battle. I think that would be super fun, because she instant detonates these bombs, which would be very, very fun. We'll go ahead and taunt now that everybody has used some of their abilities. And of course, there's a couple of them that have AoEs, so it's nice to have these AoEs. We'll go ahead and spread the love. Oh, he resisted. How did I know? Let's just go ahead and take this guy out. That's the thing, these Jawas don't do that bad of a job in attacking. Oh, he's already got his assist call ready to go. That's good for the next round, because it's kind of a mini boss battle. Round 3 is. So I'm going to go ahead and just focus on these other guys. And see, they're getting that critical chance down when they crit. So they have a 30% increased critical chance because of his leadership ability, and they just happened to crit. And when they crit, they automatically inflicted this critical chance down on him for 3 turns. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see if I can wipe one of these guys out with the assist. And they stealthed, which is very cool. Both of them that helped. Although the AoE does not care. And they're going to make me do this. So I'm going to go ahead and take these guys out with bombs. So he taunted, but that's okay, because I had the AoE. Let's just start adding some bombs to him. We'll go ahead and taunt again. He gets health over time. You can see that over his head. Go ahead and throw a little bit of health on us. Let's take this guy out. What would be really cool is if they reworked one of these guys to have an instant trigger on their basic where when they shoot their basic, it ends up triggering the bombs instantly. I think that would be pretty amazing. When he decides to go, he's just going to blow up. That's pretty funny. Alright, this is kind of a reprieve. This is not a very hard level here at all. Take some of these guys out pretty fast. Wow, 3 bombs. Okay, screwed. He critted, so he got critical chance down. We'll go ahead and taunt again, forcing them to attack him, and we'll get rid of him. That is the instant detonation that I want. It's just, that's a special ability, and Zam's is instant on her first ability, or on her basic, and so that's why I like Zam so much better. We're going to go ahead and start this with a heal, so that way we are good to go. And he critted, so got critical chance down for 3 turns, which is very important when you're going against Darth Maul. We're going to go ahead and give him some bombs. And, you know, we're just putting a bunch of stuff on there. He's got negative 50% offense, negative 25% critical chance, and he has a couple of thermal detonators on different turns. So this really helps in making sure that the damage that he does is mitigated, so that way he doesn't do a one-strike decimation of one of these characters. Go ahead and heal over time for 3 turns. One of the bombs went off. 1 or 2 of them did. He's not going to make it through this. And I'll just go ahead and finish him off. And I love this one, Scrap Bomb. Scrap Bomb allows it to immediately detonate all the thermals, which I really enjoy. So this is going to be the end of him. So there you have it. There is a review of Chief Nebit. I will try to get to the other Jawa as soon as possible. And let's see what I got. Oh, arrow for defense. That is wasteful. It's also the wrong color. So this is just going to be sold. At some point I will just sell it. But as always, make sure you like, subscribe. If you got other comments, leave them down below. If you have Chief Nebit, what is the highest that you've been able to get him combined health and protection, and how did you mod him? Go ahead and leave comments down below. And as always, keep your gaming on. Warrior out.